as we begin today with a Bronx native filmmaker, producer, current Lehman College student, and founder of Studio Senju. So, Studio Senju is a production company where entry level filmmakers come together to create short films and gain experience within the film industry. And joining us to share more is filmmaker, producer, and Studio Senju founder, Omary Senju. I want to congratulate you on taking matters into your own hands.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's a big deal. Let's talk a little bit about your film career because, as I mentioned, you've decided to take it into your own hands.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I'll say that.
Right. So, from what I read, this all started from a relationship you had.
Yeah.
I know I went there.
Yeah, you did.
Of course. Right? Because that's the juicy part.
Yeah.
Right? You need an outlet. You found therapy in writing it. And then somebody discovered that and said, oh, this would make a great film. And then you were like, you know what? Yeah, I think it would. Let me make a film. And then the rest is history. So talk to us about your steps in detail.
So when it came to that particular journey, I had a really bad relationship. And I initially at that time, I was writing short stories. I showed it to a friend of mine that had also been writing stories. And when she read it, she said it read more like a movie than like a book. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll try making movies. And then I started learning from YouTube and just going around seeing like anybody that would like sort of take me under their wing, but I couldn't find anybody. So I just kept teaching myself what I could. And eventually I made my own film as a practice. And then I made a more emotional film. It's called Sudade. It's on YouTube. And that was about that relationship and sort of just how it impacted me, and I just wanted to sort of show other people that like that feeling isn't something that is so like alienating, like because you don't see a lot of love stories that sort of depict the more sadder side of love.
Got it. And so how many years ago was that?
The relationship or the movie?
Hey, you know, you can share both if you like.
The relationship was like 2018 maybe, and the movie came out I believe 2 years ago at this time, and we did like a mini premiere for it. We did like went to a screening room, had a bunch of people show up. It was really cool.
So, all right, so it premiered in 2022. When did you shoot it?
I shot it throughout 2019 and 2020.
Throughout the pandemic?
Yeah, it was really difficult, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so I'm sure it was therapeutic for you.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing how so many people would come up to me and be like, oh, did you make this story about me? Like, you know, and I was like, no, this is my story, bro. And then sort of realizing that it is like that thing I had mentioned earlier, like not everybody gets to see that type of story. So when you get something that's so personal and relatable that you're not seeing, it makes it feel a bit more like, so I'm not crazy for feeling these feelings about that.
So it seems to me that you're also not married to any particular genre, right? Because I saw one that was like horror. I also noticed that you do a lot of creative casting, right? You're actually implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion in your development, in your storytelling, right? It doesn't really matter people's race, but you are using people of color primarily, which is also important for us to see ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And from what I see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the can.
So those are some I wanted to highlight, but at this point, I've made about 13 films.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I've worked on over
You're
like
just like a
30
filmmaking
at
machine.
this point. Yeah, I just
Once you learned how
love
to do it,
yeah.
you were like, I love it.
Yeah, I just love telling stories, so I just keep writing all the time. Like on my way to class, in between classes, I'll just write whatever comes to mind, and I end up, if I like it enough, we'll just film it, get the crew together.
And so, right, so let's talk about that, right? Because not only are you doing this for yourself, you're also doing this for upcoming filmmakers as well.
Yeah.
So what does that look like, right? Because you formed this production company that serves as a studio, which is beautiful because now you're forming a community.
Yeah, it was interesting because I guess it was the goal at first, but I didn't really expect to start it so soon. Like while being at Lehman, I've met a lot of college students here that feel like they haven't been getting a lot of like on-hands experience, and I've seen like the way people react whenever they see the stuff I make, and they're also filmmakers and film majors, I should say, and I just want to help people get that experience to start making movies. Because I feel like once you have the opportunity to make a movie, you just keep going, and it's like the sky's the limit after that.
Right. I mean, from what I understand, one of your partners is serving as our intern producer right now, right? Which is the reason you're here. Want to shout him out?
Yeah, that's Xander. He's a great guy. He's always on set with us. He mainly works as an AD. He's also a writer, and I hope he's going to be able to get one of his projects filmed soon so we can put it on Studio Senju.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so shout out to Xander.
Yes.
All right. Now, going back to your projects, it's Halloween, and I think it's Delusions, right? Is it Delusions that's got that Halloween buzz in it?
Yeah, it's Delusions and We're Okay.
And so, first of all, I was going through your stuff, and I'm going, okay, working on a low budget, doing stunts, I might add, right? Because I was like, oh my gosh. So I want to know what this process is like and what it takes for you to start and finish, because some of them are like feature level, like they're feature long. They're not all shorts.
Yeah, no, not all of them, no. So
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It takes a lot of work. It's extremely time consuming, especially with no budget. We are just like constantly like pushing and filming what we can. We are like going out to locations on guerrilla filmmaking, timing, making sure we don't, get stopped by the police while we're trying to finish stuff up.
I saw you shooting in the subway. I'm like, all right now.
Yeah.
That's a ticket if ever one I saw one. I mean, I think we did that once back in the day. I know about the rush of the guerrilla shooting.
Yeah, it's really fun.
But let's talk about the stories you've chosen to share. Like, what inspires you to make sure that they're born, right? So there's the writing aspect of it. I guess technically that's when they're born, but to actually put them out into the world and give them life and bring characters, to life, and hire actors and put all this film stuff into gear. I mean, it's a lot of work. So obviously this is something you really thrive on. And you, like you're saying, we're doing it with no budget. Like, why is this so important, and how do you choose which ones go first?
I feel like it's important because New York is where filmmaking really started, especially like back in like the 1920s and like the early period of time. And I feel like it's moved a lot more towards LA at this period of time. And it's interesting how there's so many people in New York City that love movies, that love telling stories, and there's no real outlet or position for these people that are just living in the Bronx in these marginalized communities. They don't really have the same opportunities that some regular filmmakers may have. They tend to be Nepo babies, so they tend to really get their parents' money, and they're able to get the better equipment and just film and do whatever they like. But I feel like helping everybody understand that as long as you have the drive, as long as you have the passion of telling a story, you can just make a film, even if it's on your iPhone. It's doable, and I like that idea.
I like that you mentioned the whole Nepo baby aspect of it, right? Because that usually determines a person's success in the field, right? And then there's the monetary gain, and some people are driven by that. And the truth of the matter is when this is your craft, the money will find its way to you, as long as you keep building, developing, and enhancing, because that's really where it's at, right? Because the better the story you tell, the better the actual production quality, the more money you're going to be able to ask for. That's the way it goes. That's business in general. So I'm just curious, like, how you've been able to enroll these individuals to understand the value of crafting.
A lot of them have already had that drive and that want to make films. I'm more just providing an outlet and a opportunity for everybody that's involved to make a movie, including the person we mentioned earlier, Xander. He hadn't really worked on a lot of short films and films in general until we started working with him, and he's been like a major help. Like, his ideas are outstanding. Like, he's helped so much, especially with like some of the other projects we've done, like the fight choreography project. He helped a lot with that one. That one was a big undertaking, so I'm very thankful for him and everybody else involved in it.
That's beautiful. So if somebody wanted to get involved with you, both as an actor and or crew member, how do they do so?
They could just contact me at Studio Senju or Omary Senju on Instagram. I think Omary Senju would be easier. and just hit me up. Let me know which field
Do they
you're
have to be a
reaching into.
Lehman College student?
No,
No.
I don't feel like it should matter no matter what you're affiliated with. As long as you have that passion and that want to make films, I'm down to help you and either help you make your own story or bring you on and help make one of ours.
That's what's up, Omary. Okay, we brought you here first before you blow up. I love this. Omary Senju, everyone, filmmaker, producer, Studio Senju, founder. And once again, if you're interested in getting down with Omary, you can check out Senju Productions on YouTube at Studio Senju, and also follow him on Instagram at Omary Senju. All right, stay tuned. There's more open when we return.